is some live questions coming in here. Okay, Linda, first of all, on Facebook. Great question, Linda. Live question. She says, Linda Sloan, why are some healings instantaneous, but others are not? Remember, while we answer these questions, you can keep asking questions. We'll get to as many as we can in the time allotted. Carlie.
I think every healing is instantaneous. It's just sometimes we see it manifest in our flesh and sometimes we don't.
Ooh, steep.
Okay? And that's when we come to understand that the moment that we speak God's word, it goes immediately into action. You need to get our teaching Manifesting Miracles. It will explain that in great detail. But as work, we have creative power. We were just talking about the let there be light. Right. God created the world with words, right?
Yeah.
And so words have a creative power. They can create and they can destroy. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. And when those words of faith are spoken out of our mouth, they go immediately into action. You can look at the story of the fig tree. Immediately, that fig tree withered up from the roots. That's an example of the destructive power of somebody's words, of Jesus' words when he cursed the fig tree. But, sometimes there is a period of time before we see the manifestation of that on the outside. So it can look like that some healing is not instantaneous. And in fact, if you look at the two different accounts of the fig tree, one in Matthew and one in Mark 11 and Matthew 24, I think it is. You'll see one says instantly, immediately, and the other one says the next day. And so that discrepancy, get my teaching, anyway, Manifesting Miracles.
So it sounds like discrepancy, but actually it's the same thing, because when Jesus cursed the fig tree, it did die right then and there.
Yep.
It died in the roots though. So it did die, it did happen instantaneously, but the results weren't visible until 24 hours later.
And we need to come to the point where we understand that the power is in our spoken word and not get so hung up on having to see the effects of those words in order to believe that it's happened.
Right.
Jesus said to Thomas in John, and he said, blessed are those who believe and yet have not seen. That's people that really understand how faith works. Because faith, we go by faith and not by sight. What people do oftentimes, though, is they get more hung up in their five senses, in what they can see with their physical eyes, that they aren't using their spiritual ability to see.
Right.
And so that's why sometimes it looks like healing isn't instantaneous. But I believe it is instantaneous every time. It's just dependent on our ability to see it by faith.